When I started my journey, I had no money, no connections, and honestly no idea how to achieve success. But I had one thing that made all the difference: the courage to take action. Believe me, the biggest mistake you can make is not trying. Many people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the certainty that everything will work out. But here's the truth: the perfect moment never comes. If you want to change your life, you need to start now, because every day you wait is a missed opportunity. I remember a presentation I attended years ago where an entrepreneur was asked about the secret to success. He answered something that stuck with me forever. 80% of success lies in the speed with which you act. He explained that while others were still debating whether they should act or not, he had already tried, made 3 mistakes, and found a solution that worked. This is something I have always believed. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. I have made more mistakes than I can count, but each mistake taught me something that made me stronger and more prepared. Action for me is like planting a seed. If you only think about how hard it will be to take care of a tree, you'll never see the fruit. But if you plant today and nurture it a little each day, you'll see something incredible grow. That's how business and life work. You don't need perfection, you need consistency. And that consistency only comes when you take the first step, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect. Many people ask me, "Jack, what if I fail?" I always say, you will fail, and that's okay. Failure is not the end, it's part of the process. When we started Alibaba, we failed many times. We lost money, faced rejection, and there were days when it felt like nothing was going to work. But every mistake brought us one step closer to success. The important thing is to never give up. As I always say, today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be beautiful. Most people quit tomorrow night. Something magical happens when you take the initiative. You start to gain confidence. Every small achievement reinforces your belief that you are capable. It's like climbing a mountain. You don't need to see the top to start. Just start climbing. The journey teaches, shapes, and strengthens you. When I look back, I realize that the greatest lessons I've learned didn't come from my successes, but from the steps I took when I didn't know what I was doing. Action is not just a tool for achieving goals. It's a way to transform yourself. When you act, you're telling the world and yourself that you're ready to face challenges, that you're committed to progress. And when you have that mindset, nothing can stop you. Remember this: while you hesitate, the world doesn't stop. Someone is taking action, someone is learning, someone is growing. Don't wait for the right moment, because it will never come. Start now. Make mistakes, learn, and keep going. Success is not reserved for the smartest or the most talented. It belongs to those who have the courage to act. So my question for you is, what are you waiting for? Your future depends on what you do today. When I was young, it seemed like the world was determined to remind me of my limitations. I failed school exams repeatedly and was rejected from 30 jobs, including one at KFC. I could have easily given up, but it was during those moments that I realized my greatest barriers weren't external. They were within me. Fear of failure, constant doubt, and that voice saying, "You're not capable," were my real enemies. It's hard to take action when your mind is filled with those shadows, but it's precisely at that moment that you need to ask yourself, if not now, when? If not me, who? These fears are often creations of our past experiences, but they don't have to dictate our future. For example, when I founded Alibaba, I had no technology, no capital, and no clear plan. All I had was an unshakable belief that the internet could transform lives. I asked myself, what if we fail? But I quickly turned that question into another. What if we don't try? Identifying internal barriers starts with recognizing that they exist and understanding that they are part of the journey. Overcoming these barriers isn't about eliminating them, it's about confronting them. Think of them as large stones in your path. You can either stand there staring at them, or decide to climb over, push them, or even find a way around them. When I learned to accept that failure was a necessary step towards success, I began to see my mistakes as valuable lessons. As I often say, your mistakes are not failures, they are lessons for the next step. This shifted the way I acted, and it can shift yours too. When you start naming your fears, something magical happens. They lose their hold on you. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. Suddenly you see that the monster wasn't as scary as you thought. That's why I recommend taking a few minutes to reflect. What is my greatest fear? Where does it come from? By doing this, you disarm your biggest barrier, an internal battle that many avoid facing. Inaction is often fear's best friend. Every day you delay a decision or avoid a challenge, your fear grows stronger. But the opposite is also true. Every small step you take, even hesitantly, robs fear of its power. That's exactly what happened when I launched Alibaba. I didn't know if it would succeed, but I knew I couldn't remain still. One small step led to the next, and that changed everything. If there's one thing you should remember, it's that your internal barriers are part of your story, but they don't define the whole story. They may be challenging, but they're never insurmountable. Identify them, confront them, and watch as they become stepping stones to a future you never thought possible. But what comes after identifying these barriers? That's where small wins create big changes. When I started Alibaba, I wasn't thinking about building a global empire. My only goal was to help small businesses sell their products outside of China. That focus on small actions took us much further than I could have imagined. The truth is, big dreams can seem intimidating. But when you break them into smaller parts, everything starts to make sense. It's like climbing a mountain. No one reaches the summit in a single leap, but step by step, the achievement becomes inevitable. Why are small wins so powerful? They not only show us that we're on the right path, but they also fuel our motivation. Every accomplishment, no matter how small, is like lighting a single candle in a dark tunnel. It illuminates the next step and encourages us to keep going. I always say, if you want big results, start with small steps. After all, the journey to turning dreams into reality begins the moment you take that first step, no matter how small it seems. I remember a time when we were struggling to attract customers to Alibaba. We decided to start by helping just a small group of local merchants. It wasn't easy, but little by little, we earned their trust. When we managed to help our first customer close an international deal, we celebrated as if it were the greatest victory in the world, and in a way, it was. That moment gave us the strength to move forward and achieve even greater things. Breaking large goals into smaller steps also helps reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed. Many times we look at a massive objective and think, this is impossible. But if you ask yourself, what can I do today? And focus on small tasks, the impossible starts to seem achievable. Writing a book begins with a single sentence. Launching a business starts with one idea. When you celebrate these small wins, you create a cycle of constant progress that strengthens your confidence. Small wins also build something essential, momentum. Every step you take creates energy that fuels the next. Imagine a ball rolling downhill. At first, you need to push it, but after a few meters, it gains its own speed. That's how success happens. In the beginning, the effort seems enormous, but as you advance, the achievements accumulate, becoming a catalyst for even more progress. Let me ask you, what small step can you take today? The secret to transforming your life doesn't lie in grand gestures, but in the consistency of small ones. These small accomplishments form the foundation of success, but to sustain them, you must understand what truly motivates us. After all, how do you keep the fire burning without fuel? The answer lies in the science of motivation. Motivation is a curious thing. It's like a spark. It ignites quickly, but without the right fuel, it fades just as fast. I've always believed that true success comes from understanding what drives us and finding ways to sustain that drive over time. Motivation is not just about feeling inspired. It's about creating a system where that inspiration turns into consistent action. This is the key to achieving long-term success. When you complete small tasks, your brain rewards you, creating a positive cycle of action and reward. Imagine you decide to dedicate just 15 minutes a day to a project you care about. Over time, those 15 minutes become a habit, and that habit becomes progress. This is how you turn fleeting motivation into something that truly lasts. Motivation starts the engine, but habits keep it running, I like to say. Let me share an example. When we were building Alibaba, there were days when it felt like the challenges would never end. On those days, I focused on small, manageable tasks. Completing them gave me the confidence to tackle bigger challenges. It's like planting a tree. You can't see the full growth immediately, but the consistent care you give it today ensures it will stand tall in the future. The same principle applies to motivation. Nurture it with small actions daily. Habits are the fuel for sustained motivation. Without them, even the strongest inspiration can fade. Think of athletes. They train every day, not because they feel like it, but because their routines have become second nature. This discipline is what creates lasting results. Similarly, building habits in your personal and professional life ensures that your motivation isn't just a spark, but a steady flame. The good news is that motivation and habits feed into each other. Every small success reinforces your belief in what you're capable of achieving. It's a cycle. You take action, you see results, and those results motivate you to keep going. This loop of motivation and action is what helps us achieve goals that once seemed out of reach. Motivation might light the fire, but discipline sustains it. To make consistent progress, we need to cultivate routines that eliminate the reliance on fleeting inspiration. This brings us to an essential element of success: the power of discipline. Let's explore why discipline is the true pillar of lasting success. Discipline has always been the backbone of success. It's easy to start a journey when you feel motivated, but what happens on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found? Discipline takes over. I've always believed that success comes from doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is freedom in disguise, I often say, because it removes the chaos of indecision and keeps you moving forward. Creating a daily routine was one of the first lessons I learned while building Alibaba. I realized that by committing to specific tasks at specific times, I eliminated the mental exhaustion of deciding what to do next. For example, I made it a habit to wake up early every morning to reflect and strategize. This routine gave me a sense of control, even when external circumstances felt overwhelming. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Think about it. When you start working out, the first few days feel incredibly hard. But as you stick to your routine, your body adapts, and it becomes easier. The same applies to personal growth and productivity. Each disciplined act builds your confidence, showing you that you are capable of sticking to your commitments. Many people think discipline means sacrificing happiness, but the opposite is true. Discipline creates a sense of accomplishment that inspires pride and joy. It's what allows you to celebrate the progress you've made. Imagine how it feels to look back and see the consistent effort that has brought you closer to your goals. That feeling of achievement is worth every ounce of effort. Discipline also frees up mental space. When you have a set routine, you no longer waste time debating whether to act, you simply do. This consistency builds momentum, propelling you forward even on difficult days. It's a quiet strength that ensures you don't falter when things get tough. So how can you build discipline into your life? Start small. Commit to one habit, maybe reading for 10 minutes a day or waking up at the same time every morning. Over time, these small acts of discipline will snowball into a life defined by purpose and achievement. But how do you handle the doubts and negative self-talk that can undermine even the strongest discipline? The answer lies in rewriting your internal dialogue. The way you speak to yourself matters more than you realize. Your internal dialogue shapes your actions, your confidence, and ultimately your success. I've met so many people who limit their potential by saying, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good enough." But let me ask you, if you don't believe in yourself, how can anyone else? Changing how you talk to yourself is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. During my early years, I struggled with self-doubt. After facing rejection after rejection from schools, jobs, even investors, I started to question my worth. But then I realized I was letting those external failures dictate my internal story. So I began to reframe my thoughts. Instead of saying, "I'm not capable," I told myself, "I'm still learning, but I will get there." This shift in perspective was transformative. Positive affirmations are not just words, they are seeds of courage. When you replace "I can't" with "I'll try," you open yourself to new possibilities. Imagine telling yourself every morning, "I am capable of achieving great things today." Over time, this practice rewires your brain to focus on opportunities instead of obstacles. It's not about being blindly optimistic, it's about training your mind to see what's possible. I often tell people to think of their internal dialogue as a coach rather than a critic. A good coach encourages, motivates, and helps you push through challenges. A critic, on the other hand, undermines your efforts and saps your energy. By becoming your own coach, you can create an environment of self-support that drives you forward. One of my favorite analogies is that of a seed. Every positive thought you plant in your mind is a seed that will grow into confidence and resilience. But just like a seed needs sunlight and water, your thoughts need action to flourish. When you act on those positive affirmations, you reinforce your belief in yourself. Changing your internal dialogue is not a one-time effort, it's a lifelong practice. Each time you catch yourself thinking negatively, challenge that thought and reframe it. This simple act of awareness can make all the difference. Now, how do we tackle the deeper emotional barriers that often hold us back? Let's explore the science of breaking through these walls. Procrastination is often misunderstood. Many think it's laziness, but it's actually a defense mechanism against uncomfortable emotions like fear, self-doubt, or overwhelm. I've learned that to break through these barriers, we need to confront their root causes. If you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. I often say, this means addressing your mindset and habits rather than trying to control external factors. One of the biggest emotional barriers is the fear of failure. It's paralyzing because it makes every task seem monumental. The key to overcoming this fear is to break tasks into smaller, manageable pieces. For example, instead of saying, I need to complete this huge project, shift your focus to a single action. I'll write the first paragraph. Taking that first step creates momentum and chips away at the emotional weight holding you back. Another barrier is the fear of judgment. Early in my career, I worried about what others thought of me. I feared being laughed at for my ideas, especially when I started Alibaba. But I realized something crucial. Most people are too focused on their own struggles to dwell on yours. Once I let go of the need for external validation, I felt liberated to act boldly. Facing this fear head-on helped me move forward with clarity. Understanding procrastination from an emotional perspective changes everything. When you realize that avoiding a task isn't about laziness but about avoiding discomfort, you can approach it with empathy for yourself. A useful trick is to set a timer for just 5 minutes. Tell yourself, I'll work on this for 5 minutes, then stop if I want to. Often you'll find that starting is the hardest part, and once you begin, the resistance fades. Taking action despite fear builds resilience. Every time you act, you're proving to yourself that you're capable. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice overcoming emotional barriers, the stronger you become. When I faced constant rejection in my early years, each no felt like a personal failure. But I reframed these experiences as stepping stones to success. When you embrace failure, it loses its power over you, I've always believed. Breaking barriers isn't about eliminating fear or doubt, it's about moving forward anyway. Each time you do, you're not just overcoming a task, you're rewriting your story. What's next? Building sustainable momentum, the force that keeps you going even when the initial spark fades. Momentum is one of the most underestimated forces in achieving success. It's what turns a single action into a cascade of progress. I often say, the energy of a small achievement can carry you much further than you imagine. Creating momentum starts with consistency, taking small actions every day that build upon each other. The more you move, the easier it becomes to keep moving. Think of momentum like pushing a car. At first, it takes enormous effort to get the car rolling, but once it's moving, it requires much less energy to keep it going. The same applies to life. Starting is always the hardest part, but with each small win, you gain speed and confidence. This is why beginning your day with an easy, achievable task sets the tone for productivity. When I founded Alibaba, we focused on small, actionable goals. Instead of worrying about dominating the global market, we concentrated on helping one client at a time. Each success gave us the confidence to expand our vision. This approach kept us motivated and created a ripple effect that turned small wins into monumental achievements. Sustainable momentum is built through habits. When you incorporate productive actions into your daily routine, they become second nature. For example, dedicating 15 minutes a day to learning a new skill may seem insignificant, but over a year, it adds up to nearly 100 hours. This steady progress is far more powerful than bursts of effort followed by long periods of inactivity. Celebrating small victories along the way is crucial. Each success, no matter how minor, reinforces your belief in your abilities. It's like adding fuel to a fire. The more you feed it, the brighter it burns. Acknowledge your achievements, even if they seem trivial, because they are the building blocks of larger success. Momentum is not just about action, it's about mindset. When you believe in the power of consistent effort, you unlock a flow state where progress feels almost automatic. But how do you ensure that this progress remains intentional and aligned with your goals? The answer lies in creating a solid routine that supports your ambitions. A well-structured routine is like a compass guiding you toward your goals. Early in my journey with Alibaba, I learned that success isn't about how much you do in one day, it's about what you do every day. When your actions are intentional and consistent, even the most ambitious goals become achievable. Establishing a routine removes distractions and keeps you focused on what truly matters. A good routine simplifies decision-making. When you plan your day in advance, you eliminate the mental energy spent deciding what to do next. This was especially important for me during Alibaba's early days when every moment counted. I started each morning reviewing our progress and identifying the most critical tasks. This habit not only saved time, but also kept my priorities in check. Routines also create predictability in an unpredictable world. Life will throw challenges your way, but having a structure ensures you don't lose momentum. For example, I set aside time every evening to reflect on what worked and what didn't. This simple practice helped me stay grounded and prepared for the next day. It's a small investment of time that pays huge dividends in clarity and confidence. What makes routines so powerful is their cumulative effect. Imagine you commit to reading just 10 pages of a book every night. In a month, you'll have read an entire book, and in a year, you'll have absorbed knowledge from 12 books. The same principle applies to any goal. Small, consistent actions add up to extraordinary results over time. A routine also reinforces discipline, helping you act even on days when you're not feeling motivated. Think of it like brushing your teeth. It's not about excitement, it's about habit. When your daily actions become automatic, you free up mental space to focus on bigger challenges. This is why routines are not restrictive, they're liberating. But a routine is only as effective as the mindset behind it. When you approach each day with purpose, your routine becomes a tool for transformation. So how can discipline amplify the power of your routine? Let's delve deeper into why discipline is the cornerstone of sustained success. Motivation might get you started, but it's discipline that keeps you moving. Success isn't about grand gestures or bursts of inspiration. It's about showing up consistently, day after day. I like to say, discipline is freedom disguised, because it frees you from the chaos of indecision and ensures steady progress toward your goals. When I was building Alibaba, there were countless days when I didn't feel like working. The obstacles were overwhelming, and the pressure was constant. But I had a commitment to show up no matter what. This unwavering discipline became the foundation of our success. It wasn't about doing extraordinary things every day. It was about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. Discipline is a skill anyone can develop. Start small. Commit to one habit, like exercising for 10 minutes every morning or dedicating 15 minutes to learning a new skill. Over time, these small acts of discipline build momentum and reinforce your belief in yourself. Each disciplined action is a vote for the person you want to become. One of the greatest benefits of discipline is its ability to strengthen your confidence. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, you prove to yourself that you are reliable and capable. This self-trust becomes a powerful force, helping you tackle even the most daunting challenges with courage and determination. Discipline also creates a ripple effect in other areas of your life. When you practice discipline in one domain, like sticking to a budget or maintaining a fitness routine, it naturally spills over into others. This interconnectedness makes discipline not just a habit, but a way of life. But discipline isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. There will be days when you stumble, and that's okay. What matters is that you get back on track and keep moving forward. So, how do you overcome the fear of failure, the biggest obstacle to consistent discipline? Let's explore how embracing failure can transform it from a setback into a stepping stone. Fear of failure is one of the greatest barriers to success. But what if I told you that failure isn't the enemy? It's a teacher, and often our best one. I faced rejection countless times, from failing exams to being turned down for jobs, even from KFC. But I've always believed the biggest mistake you can make is never trying. Embracing failure as part of the process has been a game changer. When I started Alibaba, the fear of failure loomed large. What if no one used our platform? What if we lost everything? These questions were terrifying, but I realized they were also paralyzing. Instead of avoiding failure, I decided to face it head-on. Every rejection became a lesson, every mistake a stepping stone. This shift in perspective gave me the courage to act, even when the outcome was uncertain. One way to conquer the fear of failure is by reframing it. Instead of seeing failure as the end, View it as feedback. Each attempt teaches you something new. Think about it. Every great inventor, entrepreneur, or artist has failed countless times. Thomas Edison famously said he didn't fail 10,000 times. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. This mindset transforms failure from a threat into an opportunity. Another strategy is to take smaller, calculated risks. Break down your big goals into manageable steps and focus on achieving one at a time. This approach minimizes the fear of falling because each step feels achievable. For example, instead of launching a full business, start with a small product or service. Testing the waters reduces the stakes and builds confidence. Surround yourself with people who inspire resilience. Early in my journey, I sought out mentors who had faced failures of their own. Their stories reminded me that failure is universal, but so is the ability to bounce back. Hearing how they overcame setbacks motivated me to keep going, even when the odds were against me. Ultimately, fear loses its grip when you take action. The more you face failure, the less intimidating it becomes. Remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory over fear. Now, how can we go beyond overcoming failure and visualize success in a way that transforms our actions? Let's dive into the art of visualization. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools for achieving your goals. I've always believed that you must see success in your mind before you can create it in reality. When we started Alibaba, I often imagined what it would feel like to connect small businesses with global buyers. That vision kept me focused, even when the odds were stacked against us. See the future in your mind before it happens, I used to say. The act of visualization creates a strong emotional connection to your goals. Take a moment each day to picture what achieving your dreams would look like. How would it feel to reach that milestone? What steps would you have taken to get there? This mental rehearsal doesn't just inspire you, it aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions toward a common purpose. Visualization isn't about daydreaming, it's about creating a roadmap for your journey. For example, when I imagined Alibaba's success, I didn't just think about the end result. I visualized the hard work, the team collaborations, and even the challenges we would face. This helped me prepare mentally and emotionally for the road ahead. One practical way to incorporate visualization is by writing down your goals and revisiting them regularly. Studies have shown that people who document their objectives are more likely to achieve them. Pair this with visualization, and you create a powerful feedback loop of intention and action. Visualization also helps overcome doubts and insecurities. When you see yourself succeeding, you start to believe it's possible. This belief fuels the confidence needed to take bold steps. I often tell people to think of their minds as a camera, focus on what you want to capture, and the rest will fall into place. But visualization alone isn't enough. It's the spark that ignites action, but sustained success requires accountability. How can you ensure you stay on track and turn your vision into reality? By creating a system of responsibility, as we'll explore next. Success isn't a solo journey. It's built on a foundation of support and accountability. I've always said success is easier when you don't walk alone. Whether it's a mentor, a team, or even a friend who believes in you, having someone to hold you accountable can be the difference between dreaming and doing. Accountability creates a structure that keeps you focused and driven. When I started Alibaba, I had a small team of 17 people. None of us had the expertise or resources we needed, but we had one thing: trust in each other. We held ourselves accountable, not just to our goals, but to each other. This mutual responsibility created a sense of purpose and determination that carried us through the toughest times. Knowing someone is counting on you makes it harder to procrastinate and easier to stay committed. One of the most effective ways to create accountability is by sharing your goals. When you tell someone what you're aiming for, it adds a layer of commitment. For example, if you plan to write a book, telling a friend or mentor makes you more likely to follow through. It's no longer just your goal, it's a promise you've made to someone else. This external pressure can be a powerful motivator. Mentorship is another crucial element. A good mentor doesn't just guide you, they challenge you. When I was navigating the early stages of Alibaba, I sought advice from people who had been through similar struggles. Their insights helped me avoid mistakes and refine my approach. More importantly, their belief in my vision kept me accountable to it. Accountability also works on a team level. At Alibaba, we built a culture where everyone was responsible for their role and their contribution to the bigger picture. This collective accountability created a sense of ownership and pride in our work. It wasn't about pointing fingers when things went wrong. It was about finding solutions together. Finally, technology can play a role in accountability. Today, tools like apps and trackers make it easier to monitor progress and stay on schedule. But remember, the real power of accountability lies in relationships, the people who challenge you to be better and celebrate your successes. Now, what happens when setbacks inevitably arise? Let's explore how to turn challenges into stepping stones for growth. Setbacks are not the end of the road, they're opportunities in disguise. I've always believed every problem you face is a chance to grow stronger. At Alibaba, we faced countless challenges, from financial struggles to skeptical investors. But instead of seeing these obstacles as reasons to quit, we treated them as lessons. Each setback taught us something valuable, and that mindset made all the difference. When something goes wrong, the first step is to analyze it objectively. What happened and why? Blame doesn't solve problems, but understanding them does. Early in Alibaba's journey, we failed to attract significant investment. Instead of giving up, we asked ourselves, what can we do differently? That reflection led us to focus more on serving small businesses, which became the foundation of our success. Setbacks also build resilience. Think of them as weights in a gym. Each one might feel heavy, but lifting them strengthens your ability to handle more in the future. When I was rejected for dozens of jobs, including KFC, it was painful. But those rejections taught me to persevere, and that perseverance became my greatest strength. Over time, I learned to embrace challenges as opportunities to grow. Another key to overcoming setbacks is flexibility. Sometimes the path you planned isn't the one that will take you to your goal. Be willing to adapt. At Alibaba, we often had to pivot when our initial strategies didn't work. Flexibility doesn't mean abandoning your vision. It means finding new ways to achieve it. It's also essential to celebrate progress, even during difficult times. When you acknowledge the small wins amidst setbacks, you remind yourself of your capabilities. This builds the confidence needed to keep going. Think of setbacks as detours, not dead ends. They may slow you down, but they can't stop you unless you let them. Finally, surround yourself with people who inspire resilience. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a team, having support makes it easier to bounce back. Challenges are inevitable, but how you respond to them defines your journey. Now, how do you turn these moments of growth into unshakable confidence? Let's talk about building confidence through action. Confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you build. I've always believed you never gain confidence until you start doing. Many people think they need to feel ready before they act. But the truth is, action creates readiness. When you take that first step, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are capable. And that's where confidence begins. In the early days of Alibaba, I didn't know if we would succeed. There were no guarantees and every decision felt risky. But instead of waiting for the perfect moment, we acted. Each small achievement, helping a single client, solving a minor problem, reinforced our belief that we could do more. Confidence is built like a wall, brick by brick, step by step. Taking action, even when you feel uncertain, is a powerful way to silence self-doubt. Think of it like jumping into a pool. The water might be cold, but once you're in, you realize it's not as bad as you thought. The same applies to challenges in life. When you face them head-on, you often discover that your fears were exaggerated, and the confidence you gain from acting makes the next challenge less intimidating. Confidence also grows when you celebrate your victories, no matter how small. Each accomplishment is evidence of your ability. I often encourage people to write down their achievements, even the minor ones, and review them regularly. This practice reminds you of how far you've come and motivates you to keep going. Another way to build confidence is through preparation. When you equip yourself with the knowledge and skills needed for a task, you naturally feel more capable. For example, when I was preparing for my first big presentation as Alibaba's leader, I spent days practicing. By the time I stood in front of the audience, I was nervous but prepared. Preparation transforms fear into focus. Finally, surround yourself with people who believe in you. Their encouragement acts as a mirror, reflecting your potential back to you. Confidence is contagious, and when you see others trust in your abilities, it reinforces your belief in yourself. With confidence, every step forward becomes easier, leading to a continuous cycle of growth. But confidence alone isn't enough. It needs to be paired with focus and determination to truly transform your journey. Let's discuss the ongoing practice of maintaining focus. Focus is not a destination, it's a daily practice. In the whirlwind of distractions that life throws at us, Staying committed to your goals requires constant effort. I've learned that focus isn't just about saying yes to your priorities. It's about saying no to everything that doesn't align with them. It's a discipline that shapes your actions and defines your success. When I started Alibaba, there were endless opportunities and challenges competing for my attention. It would have been easy to get sidetracked, but I reminded myself of our mission, to empower small businesses through technology. That clarity of purpose helped me filter out distractions and dedicate my energy to what truly mattered. One effective way to cultivate focus is by setting clear, specific goals. Ambiguity creates confusion, while clarity creates direction. Instead of saying, "I want to be successful," define what success looks like for you. Is it building a profitable business, improving your health, or spending more time with loved ones? The clearer your goals, the easier it is to stay focused. Another key is to break big goals into smaller tasks. When a project feels overwhelming, it's tempting to procrastinate. But when you focus on completing one task at a time, progress feels achievable. Think of it like driving at night. You don't need to see the entire road to move forward. You just need to see the next few meters. Eliminating distractions is also essential. Whether it's turning off notifications, setting boundaries, or creating a dedicated workspace, minimizing interruptions helps you maintain concentration. I often tell people to treat their focus like a valuable resource, protect it fiercely, because it determines the quality of your work and the pace of your progress. Finally, focus requires renewal. Just as a car needs refueling, your mind needs rest and reflection to stay sharp. Take breaks, spend time in nature, or practice mindfulness to recharge your energy. Remember, focus isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter, with intention and clarity. And so the journey of focus continues every day, shaping your actions and outcomes. What will you choose to focus on today?
Jack Ma, the visionary entrepreneur and co-founder of Alibaba, once again captivated audiences with his profound insights into personal growth, discipline, and the art of achieving success. Known for his relentless optimism and transformative ideas, Jack Ma shared a journey filled with rejection, perseverance, and eventual triumph. His stories remind us that failure is not the end, but the beginning of something extraordinary. In this compelling narrative, Jack Ma took us on a journey through the universal struggles we all face: fear of failure, procrastination, and the overwhelming challenges of staying motivated. He began by addressing the internal barriers that often paralyze us, sharing his own experiences of rejection and how he transformed those moments into stepping stones for success. With his iconic question, "If not now, when? If not me, who?" Jack Ma challenged us to confront our fears head-on and take action. He emphasized the power of small victories, explaining how breaking down massive goals into manageable steps creates momentum and builds confidence. Using examples from his early Alibaba days, Jack Ma demonstrated that even the smallest achievements can spark a chain reaction of success. From there, he dived into the science of motivation, showing how habits fuel long-term progress, transforming fleeting inspiration into sustainable discipline. Discipline, Jack Ma explained, is the foundation of all success. Drawing from his own life, he illustrated how consistent effort, even on uninspiring days, can overcome any obstacle. He urged us to rewrite our internal dialogue, replacing self-doubt with affirmations of possibility. Your mistakes are not failures. They are lessons for the next step, he shared, offering a new perspective on setbacks and challenges. Jack Ma's advice didn't stop at personal growth. He delved into the importance of visualization, accountability, and building resilience through action. By imagining success and holding ourselves accountable to a network of support, we can create systems that keep us moving forward. His stories of overcoming massive obstacles reminded us that setbacks are simply opportunities in disguise. This conversation wasn't just about achieving professional milestones. It was about crafting a life filled with purpose, focus, and fulfillment. Jack Ma inspired his audience to stay committed to their goals while embracing the journey with curiosity and courage. His insights into building confidence, maintaining focus, and turning dreams into reality resonated deeply, leaving a lasting impression. Whether you're starting a new chapter or seeking inspiration to keep going, Jack Ma's wisdom is a powerful guide. His message is clear. Success begins with a single step and the willingness to take it. Are you ready to rewrite your story? Now that you've learned the transformative principles shared by Jack Ma, the next step is to put them into action. How will you confront your fears, celebrate small victories, and build the habits that lead to lasting success? Remember, every great achievement begins with a single step, and that step starts today. Think about the advice that resonated most with you. Was it rewriting your internal dialogue, creating momentum through small actions, or perhaps the importance of discipline and visualization? Share your thoughts in the comments below and inspire others on their journey. And whenever you feel stuck or unmotivated, come back to this video as a reminder of what's possible. Let these lessons be the fuel that reignites your drive. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel right now. Finding your way back might be harder than you think. And hit the notification bell so you never miss the opportunity to learn and grow. Finally, make sure to check out the next video. Boost your focus on yourself. Tips to achieve unimaginable success. Jack Ma, where we'll dive even deeper into the habits and strategies that can transform your life. It's time to take action, step into your potential, and create the success you've always envisioned. Are you ready?